Okay, so welcome back to another video. And in this video I'm going to be comparing the JBL Boombox 2 versus the Ultra Ears Hyperboom is what it's called. Escaped me for a second there. So I'll start with the Boombox. Well, I mean, they're very similar sounding devices. Obviously they look quite different, mainly being the fact that this stands vertically, which is a lot better obviously for desk space. As you can see, this is quite inconvenient, takes up the whole place. And obviously mine's a bit manky because life happens. But yeah, so the Boombox has obviously the subs on the side, but apart from that, they both have all the same features really. The Boombox obviously has a carrying handle up there, which isn't obvious. The Ultimate Ears has a handle which just pops out the side like that, which probably isn't as stable and stuff like that, but it means when it's down, it has a much nicer aesthetic, should we call it, look than the Boombox, because it makes a bit of a statement, I suppose. Around the back of the JBL Boombox 2, there is the ports. There's just a USB, a micro USB for updates or whatever, so basically nothing. The charger and an aux input. So fairly standard stuff. Obviously the USB meaning you can charge your phone and whatnot from the speaker. The Hyperboom has a USB out as well for charging, a weird service port up there, an optical in for TVs and whatnot, an aux in as well, and the power, and all that under the same waterproof type casing thing there. So very similar devices. The only difference being the Hyperboom has the optical thing, so if you're using it for a TV, then you know, obviously you've only really got one option there, as well as the JBL Boombox having quite a bit of latency, so you might find that their lips aren't in sync with what they're saying, which is obviously awful if you're watching TV. So yeah, the top of the Hyperboom has these volume buttons here, which are touch sensitive, so you don't actually have to press them, and if
90% charge.
If you do that, it tells you the battery, speaks it out loud. Whereas the Boombox has this thing down here, which, to be honest, as far as telling the volume goes, is pretty useless. It's about at half volume right now, but it looks no different to full volume. So yeah, there's that. The Boombox has a feature where you can pair it with other Boomboxes, and if you get the Ultimate Ears app, that will do the same thing. They both can be connected to two devices. However, the Ultimate Ears one needs to be manually switched between the two, as you can see here, Bluetooth device 1 and 2, whereas the Boombox will just automatically take over when the second device starts playing, which is a positive and negative in the same light, I suppose, there. And then this is to change between the aux and optical inputs here, power button. So they're all very similar. The main difference, I suppose, being the Boombox is IPX7 water resistant, and this the Hyperboom is IPX4, meaning it's only splash and stuff proof. Whereas the Boombox you could submerge, although I doubt many people submerge their speakers, so you know, you can take that how you will. I think all that's left now really is to do a little sound test here. The song I'll be using is NCS Everything by Diamond Eyes. I use that one most just because it's the only decent one I've really found. So I guess we'll start with the Boombox, and obviously in the video you can skip between the two. If you skip to forward, then you can see the Hyper one next to it. So I'll start with the Boombox. I'll just put that up to full volume for you.
We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare, 'cause the flames won't burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant
Poor neighbours, Jesus. Now we will play the same song on the Hyperboom at full volume.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the open sea. You meant the world to me. You meant the world to me.
Okay, that's enough of that. Jesus Christ. Alright, so in my opinion, they are very, very similar sounding. I feel like the Hyperboom has a little bit more bass in there, but it's, I mean, honestly, either way, you won't be able to tell. You won't be going wrong. You won't regret anything. They sound very similar. So you'd be basing it off the other points in this video, really. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll hopefully attempt to reply. Hope you enjoyed.